Hey there, friends and enemies. JoPaWrites here once again, and today I wanted to bring you a quick video on some tips and tricks from the Solstice of Heroes event in Destiny 2, as well as a little bit of gameplay for the EAZ, get you back familiar with that arena that we haven't been to in a year. It's good to know all the different locations. Definitely check it out and let me know what you think down below. Appreciate the support recently. It's been absolutely great. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. If you enjoy the video, you want to let me know how it's going, what you want to see more of. But yeah, I'm going to jump into it, and just a few things that I want to touch on first. I'm on my legendary set right now, but yeah, here's some things that you want to keep in mind with Solstice for Heroes this year. One, you want to make sure that your elements are aligned whenever you're playing to get the correct orbs. If you're playing an activity and you really need solar orbs, you want to run all solar items. Now, the reason I'm using Buzzard here, this plays a big key in it, is that this gun has the perk Osmosis, using grenade ability, changing the weapon's damage type to match your subclass until you stow it. This can come in absolutely vital to make sure you're always generating orbs, even with a kinetic weapon that wouldn't normally do so. So this is a gun, any kind of weapon with Osmosis as a perk, obviously this is a good one. Very clutch for running the Solstice of Heroes, because you'll be just generating orbs all the time. Now, if I'm running Arc or other subclasses that have multiple grenades, or you can run your Armamentarium to get multiple grenades, that'll allow you to always have that perk procced, and it comes in very clutch. So a couple things that people often forget as well is when you have the armor, you only need the armor sets on that you're working towards. So if I am working towards strike at the time, then I can have this the chest piece, the legs, and then also the Titan mark if I want to get the weapon final blows. But if I'm not using the helmet for that part, I can take it off and rock an exotic, or I can say I don't need the mark. I can get my oppressive darkness and all that kind of good stuff that you might want as your different modifiers on there that might not be able to go on this piece of armor that you're working on. So a lot of people forget that. They just keep the whole set on the whole time. The key to it is making sure you switch back when you change activities, because that could mean you'll be playing activities without getting any progress. So you may not want to bother with that, but that's just something to keep in mind as you're going forward. Plus you'll have better perks and stats as you're working on them as well. So just a quick tip to keep in mind. For the EAZ and Crucible as well as Gambit, and strikes don't matter as much, but you're going to want to have close range weapons almost all the time. The reason for that is, in order to collect the orbs, they disappear after a little bit. You want to go scoop them up quick, especially in Crucible. If you end up dying, you don't get there in time. If you're running a scout rifle or a sniper rifle or something of that nature, oftentimes they'll disappear before you get there. So you're going to want to try to run close range weapons. Now the exception is if you're going after certain bosses that you're going to need something long range for them. But in general, close range is key, and especially on the EAZ, there's a lot of hidden enemies and bosses that you need to kind of get to and hit them up close and in their face. So run those close range weapons as much as possible. Shotguns, some fusion rifles, SMGs, that kind of stuff. Those will all come in handy, and I think pay dividends if you're collecting those orbs consistently. I'm going to jump into the EAZ, show you some of the different areas and the keys to maximizing your trips there, especially if you're not playing with a group. With a group, it's significantly easier, but sometimes you got to play with randoms, and this is going to show you a little bit of how to have some success while doing so. Quick reminder, if you forgot, the EAZ does have a bunch of holes you can fall in. Also, you can ride your Sparrow, don't forget that. Makes life a lot easier getting around. One of the easiest way to travel in EAZ is by rooftop, so make sure that you are going up and about if necessary. Your first step, defeat the mini bosses. These are typically pretty easy, especially if you have a shotgun or other close range weapon in the inventory. Make sure you're not going to the same one as both your other teammates, because what will end up happening is that you'll waste time. The best way to traverse on the EAZ is by a rooftop, in my opinion, because it allows you to reach a lot of the high-end places that otherwise you wouldn't be able to. Quicker. And yeah. So yeah, if you have the right loadout and can melt tougher enemies quick, you should be able to knock these out very fast. Especially if you have teammates who are working with you. Unfortunately, these ones seem to be not worrying about the bosses and going after the other enemies. The other enemies don't matter, to be honest. So I would not worry about them too much unless they're simply overwhelming you. Yeah, these enemies are not overly difficult, but you will want to defeat a couple of the little ones just to get your ammo back. Another key is, like I said, as you're defeating the enemies, traveling by rooftop, everything, you want to make sure you get down in time in order to get your orbs that you're generating as well, because you're going to have to get a bunch of them throughout the time. Let's see. Don't be afraid to use your super. It works very well when it comes to clearing out ads and the bosses as well. Once the mini bosses are defeated, you will have a main boss that you'll have to destroy as well. Now, this is going to be one of several of them that can pop up. This is actually my favorite, and you're going to see why in a second if you forgot about him. He is a blast. Now, clear the side enemies if you have to. You have plenty of time here. There's no time limit when it comes to the main bosses, so you don't have to worry about that at all. But the quicker you do this, the more efficiently you can farm. So don't be afraid to try to melt them as quickly as possible if you have the means to. Again, I'm out of ammo. Unfortunately, this is a poor run with regards to getting my ammo back, but such is life. Now, there will be some prismatic take-in that pop up as well. You don't have to beat them. They don't really provide that much of a benefit to doing so. But you can chase them down if you want to. Now, look at this. All the mini take-in or servitors. Just the best. I love it. And yeah, even more of them. Now, don't forget, this is what I was saying. Osmosis comes in really handy. If you can take these enemies down, you'll generate some more orbs for you. But yeah, this boss is a lot of fun. I really like it. I remember the first time I played this, just absolutely shocked to see what they did with these mini servitors. It was crazy. Again, no reason to save your super or anything here, so pop it. Get those orbs that you'll generate and melt as quickly as possible. And there's the boss. Now for the chest, you're gonna get your main chest here. Now you want to make sure you split up just like you were with the mini bosses, because what's going to happen, these chests are going to pop up. You got to remember where they are roughly and chase them down separately, because they're going to be hidden and you won't see them on the map. So do your best to find as many of them as possible, because the more you find, the more rewards you get. Can be difficult with randoms because they don't always know what they're doing, but if you pay attention to the harder ones first and go there, then you should be able to find several of the chests throughout. Hopefully we can find some. There's a bunch of hidden areas back here, like a little parking garage and all that, that are somewhat difficult to get to, so keep that in mind as you're looking for them. They will pop up on your mini map or on your map as you get closer, but I think that's all of them on this area, except for right here. Again, the high ground is the best way to go. If you've already searched the whole area, then what you want to do is use your sparrow, travel to the back of the map and go from a different direction. They will spawn outside on the little floating islands as well, so pay attention to those if you can, and you won't be able to see them unless you get fairly close, so just something to keep in mind. And that's going to do it for my guide. I wanted to show that off for you guys. I know it's not a complicated event or anything of that nature, but some tips and tricks can make it a lot easier for you as you're going through. Again, pay attention to what weapons you're running, what your elements are. Just grab those orbs as quickly as possible and enjoy the grind. Hopefully you get that majestic gear and are able to get the glow as well. So I'll catch you guys later. Thank you for watching the video. Have a great one.